What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today we got some really wicked news. This is some news that, look, personally, I did know about some of the things that we'll be talking about in this video, but today they've outlined everything in full clarity, and this is some big news that every global player needs to know moving forward. This is information about how global is catching up to Japan over the next month and a bit, right? So let's go ahead and have a look. If we go over to the notice board in game and we go to the important tab, we were greeted with this glorious message. It says character release schedule. Now at the top here, it does mention how the structure of this infographic actually works. So you can see that the stuff that's in the oval shaped tabs will be what date it's going to release for the English, French, and Korean versions of the game. The middle part of each of these icons is what event it is relating to, and the bottom part of each of these icons relates to what date it released on the Japanese version of the game. So we can use this now to progress through this infographic and determine when new characters are arriving in the game. So you can see here, November 2021, which is right now. What is releasing in November 2021? We're talking about the stuff that arrived on Japan that hasn't arrived yet on global. Now you can see for Treasure Map that the characters that released in September and October during Japan's treasure maps are going to be arriving in November for global. So currently in November we're going to have treasure map Kaido, because that's the next character to come out according to our normal release schedule. In September they had the release of Yamato and the Onigashima Luffy, and then in October they had the release of the Halloween Robin. So those two characters, as we know, are already coming. Those characters will be arriving then. For Pirate Rumble, the same thing. September and October Pirate Rumble, free to play characters. This is not talking about rare recruits. This is the free-to-play unit. So we know that there was the Oven, there was the Helmeppo, and there was one other character, I can't remember. They are going to be arriving in this month as well. But then if we go down here, we can see that for Pirate Alliance Kizuna Clash, characters that arrived September and October are also arriving in this month of November. That's interesting though. This is the one that we don't know about particularly, and we really need a little bit more clarification, right? The reason why we need more clarification is because during September was the release of the Kizuna Clash Olin, which was a super boss Kizuna Clash. It doesn't look like Global is going to be getting a super boss Kizuna Clash, because I would think that this next upcoming Kizuna is going to be Jack, and Jack was the boss character, and I don't see us getting the Olin Kizuna Clash because we're supposed to have Toki release as well. Toki was for the Jack Kizuna. Everything aligns it up for Jack to be the free-to-play character that we farm for. I'm not expecting it to be Olin this time around, which means Global actually does miss out on a lot of really good rewards due to the fact that we don't get a super boss Kizuna Clash. However, I would expect the next big one to arrive after Global has synced with Japan. I would expect that one to be a super boss, but again, we don't know what's going to be happening at this point yet. But it's still very exciting, okay? So those are all the things that we know that are coming during November 2021. Now, what will happen is if we scroll down here, we can see we have a very interesting set of images here. December 2021, which we know is going to be a very big month, especially towards the end of the month, as we'll get to it. Now, for December 2021, it says that treasure map characters that arrived in November and in December are going to be in December 2021, which means that we're actually getting the same treasure map character that Japan gets in that month of December. However, I don't think we're actually going to be getting the same treasure map Sugo Fest as Japan. I think what is going to happen is, in my opinion, I don't know this yet, I expect the next batch to release to be Vivi and Reiju. That's my expectation. And then the next treasure map unit is going to be Stussy. That is one of the characters that we don't have yet. I expect Stussy to be the next treasure map unit, and whatever treasure map arrives on Japan this month, we're going to get that as like an extra point reward. That's my assumption at this point. The same thing goes for the free-to-play Pirate Rumble character. November and December in Japan for their free-to-play units. We're getting them also in December. But then, this is an interesting one right here. After December 19th PST maintenance. Now the thing is we already know, according to social media posts, that version 11.2, which is one of the best updates that One Piece Treasure Cruise has ever seen, is going to be arriving in late December. The fact that they've mentioned that there's going to be a maintenance here leads me to believe that December 19 is is when 11.2 is going to be dropping, but there's lots of stuff releasing on this day. We can see that we're going to be getting the event characters at the end and the start of each month, which is basically like the point farming characters. It says that characters from late August all the way to December are going to be given out here. Now, we don't know if they're all just going to be available and we have to farm for them, or are they going to be just distributed for free. Hard to say right now what's going to be happening, but that's pretty interesting. That's a lot of characters that are going to be there. I don't really know if it's really from late August, considering, you know, late August was like what? That was after the Blackbeard stuff. It was before the final tap Luffy, Law, and Kid. It was Bonnie's batch, right? With Barto and Cavendish. So we already have those characters, so that might be a typo. I'm not really too sure, unless if they're going to redistribute those characters. That would be pretty weird. Next to that, though, it does mention Limit Break expansion. So there are still a few Limit Break expansion batches that we're missing, and they're all going to be here after December 19th. So they're pushing a lot of stuff here. Below that, though, this is probably one of the biggest ones. Sugo Fest. Characters that are at the end and the start of each month. This refers to regular batch rare recruits. This refers to characters like Reiju and Vivi, who should be, at least that's my assumption. I believe Reiju and Vivi are going to be at the end of November / the start of December. Characters like CP0 Lucci is one of those end of month or start of month characters. King and Queen is another example of one of those batches. I can't remember off the top of my head what's another one of those batches. And that's the other one that we can think of as well. We can think of the Halloween batch with Boa and Perona. That is one of those batches, as well as the recently released Superclass Doflamingo and Katakuri. That technically is one of those regular batches. So at this point, like, that would mean technically that those characters should be arriving after December 19th, so we don't know if there's going to be a huge Sugo Fest where all of those characters are going to be available. If that's the case, that legit might be one of the best Sugo Fests of all time, depending on how they structure it, of course. But that is pretty interesting, man. I'm super excited to see what that's going to be all about. That could potentially be an insane event. Next to that, though, it does mention Arena, a new challenger. I just assume that this means that all the Arena characters that we have been missing are going to be pushed after this update. So there's going to be, again, a lot of available characters right there. So yeah, December already looking absolutely stacked. And then down below that, there's even more stuff. It says Pirate Alliance Kizuna Clash Class Pickup Sugo Fest, December 2021. So whatever Pirate Alliance comes out in Japan for the month of December, Global is getting the exact same one. So that's awesome to see, which would mean that the Kizuna Clash of that month is going to be the same as Japan, which does mean that whatever Kizuna Clash arrives in November this month in Japan, Global is going to get as like a freebie character, and then the one that arrives in December on Japan should be the one that Global gets as well. So I believe the Kizuna Clash stuff is going to be the same for Global in Japan for the month of December, just by the way that this all looks right now. And then below that, for the final thing in December, it mentions that all the Super Evolution characters that we're missing, including the brand new month's one, is going to be available in December at some point as well. So that's great to see. And then of course it goes on to January, but just note that the New Year's Sugo Fest, which should be arriving around the 27th, 28th of December, that's going to be probably the best Sugo Fest of the year. It's going to introduce maybe multiple characters. At this point in time, I currently don't know what the New Year's legend or legends are going to be, but I'm so excited for it because typically they are big events, okay? Obviously, last year we had Roger and Odin, which was a fantastic release. Those characters are still amazing to today's date, and I mean, like 12 months later, the character's still freaking phenomenal. I don't know what New Year's is going to be, but I'm super excited for it. And of course, at this point, Global should have just about everything as the same as Japan, but it does go on to January 2022, mentioning the Treasure Sugo Fest. So this talks about Treasure Map Sugo Fest characters, because at this point, we're getting a lot of freebie Treasure Map characters, but we haven't got their rare recruits that released alongside those batches. So what they're doing is all the Treasure Map characters that we have missed are going to be pushed into one Sugo Fest in January of that month. So that's going to be pretty exciting because it's one of those events where, yeah, you want to be pulling for the treasure map characters for that month, but there's a lot of characters that are going to be available that are going to be very, very good just to have, either as good supports, good specials, but, you know, lots of point boosters for that event. So I actually like that. That's really, really cool. And then it also mentions right next to that that the same thing is happening for the Kizuna Clash Sugo Fest. Any Kizuna Clash character that we have missed for the freebies that we have been given out earlier on in previous months, we will be receiving them in that month's Kizuna Clash Sugo Fest. And then once again, for Pirate Rumble, that is the exact same, and Support Sugo Fest, it is the exact same. So January 2022 is basically the month where they're just filling in the gaps with all of those rare recruit characters from the freebies that we had been releasing previous to that. So any free-to-play treasure map character without those treasure map rare recruits, and same goes with Kizuna Clash, Pirate Rumble rare recruit, and support banners. All of them are being pushed into January, and that concludes it. So what this means is, ultimately what it means, TLDR, at this point, after January, Global will be 100% caught up with Japan. A little bit down below though, it does go into a little bit more clarification. It says, as mentioned in the producer video of One Piece Treasure Cruise Global French Korea, will be releasing the same content worldwide as the same time as the Japanese version, starting around late December 2022. I assume this means starting from that update of December 19th. I'm pretty sure from that point onwards, any content that releases is going to be the same on both versions of the game. So that's fantastic. Users on English, French, Korea will be able to play the same character and event availability as the Japanese version. As part of the content merge, characters that have appeared in the Japanese version from late August to December 2021 will also be available for English, French, Korea from the following dates. And of course, it just talks about it in a list rather than an infographic. So that's all the information that we pretty much need to know. A little bit more information about Super Evolutions here. Right at the bottom here, it does mention that Super Evolutions for SugoFest exclusive characters will be available for Super Evolution after December 22, 2021. So I guess that means that the Kizuna Clash will be coming out on December 22, so keep that in mind, so that's pretty dope. And then again, also here at the bottom, mentioning more stuff about the arena, saying that after December 19th, they're going to be reappearing in their respective arena after that point, after the maintenance. So yeah, I guess they're just going to data push a bunch of arenas at the same time. December 19th is going to be such a busy day. I definitely got to block off a lot of time for that point, man. That's going to be absolutely bonkers, man. But that's pretty much it right now. That's all the information that we currently have. If you guys have any questions about it, make sure to keep referring over to this graph here, because I don't know if I explained it really well, but that is the go in terms of what is happening, okay? Just take this little key here, the little legend, saying that the top tab is the global release date, the middle tab is the event type, and the bottom tab is the date that it released on Japan, just for further clarification there. So this is some big news. This is some big news that, you know, starting from New Year's Sugo Fest, essentially, like that's going to be when a lot of new content's going to be coming out, and Global and Japan are going to be on the same release schedule. But it pretty much means that after the December 19th maintenance, that's when Global and Japan will be pretty much officially on the same release schedule. So that's pretty awesome to see. But that is going to wrap up this video today. This is some very, very exciting stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.